Hello everybody, my name's Hocus Pocus, and welcome to episode 50 of the Minecraft Let's Play series. So, as some of you may know, this is the World Tour, and if you didn't know, you've probably guessed by now due to the title of the video. So, I just want to quickly say before we start things here, thank you very much for everyone who's been around up until this point. It's been a great journey so far, the world is looking really cool, and obviously there's going to be many more episodes to come, so make sure if you like the look of what you're seeing here during this world tour that you hit the subscribe button down below to stay up to date with the series, because as I said, this series will progress past this episode and into many more. So hopefully you guys can stick around for the journey, and without further ado, let's jump right into things. So, bringing back the HUD here. Of course, as a lot of you know from the very first episode, this is where everything began in the series. This room was originally a cave that I stumbled upon. And if we quickly just break through here, you can see it does continue off in that direction. And we had many plans for this cave. We had an idea here where we were going to create a balcony and eventually have an area of the base running under there so that we could sort of look over it and see what was going on downstairs whilst we were upstairs. And that's why we have cows down there, because we've been breeding them around the area and I just let them roam free, so they're just doing their thing. But in the end, we actually stumbled across a ravine, which we will get to shortly, and that is where we basically went ahead and extended the base, and this is kind of nullified now. We do visit occasionally to get outside and to do a bit of AFK fishing. This is something I'll touch upon quickly. This is our AFK fishing setup here. It's a very basic one. We don't have too much in the way of items in the chest at the moment because usually we sort them all out in quick time. So we don't generally leave anything hanging around. But if you can see up there, we've got a cobblestone wall that's allowing light into the farm so that we can fish here. Just to gain enchanted books, really. That's what we were using to get the mending book before our villager system. And that is how we did end up getting the first few mending books in the world. As for storage in this area, we've got a few chests here. We've got miscellaneous items at the top, bit of mob loot, bit of misc, food and agriculture, ores, ingots and minerals, and building blocks. So we can take a look at a few of these chests if you like. So this is basically all the stuff from the AFK fishing. Then we've got some mob loot here from killing mobs. We've got our food and agriculture. So this is anything you can eat or grow, essentially. Then ores, ingots and minerals. We still got quite a bit hanging around here that we don't really use that often, but you know, it's just good to have a backup. And then a bunch of building blocks from mining and such. So that's it really for storage in this area. I think what we'll do first is we'll head outside. So let's just make sure we've got a bit of daylight to work with. Do we? It kind of looks a little bit dark out here. It could be the start of a day or the end of the day. Okay, the day is about to end, so we will sleep before we head outside because we have a couple of builds outside which I think I should touch on before we go downstairs because, you know, once we go downstairs it's a long way to come back. I was thinking of doing things in chronological order, but it doesn't really make sense because we'd have to go downstairs and come back out upstairs to go outside, so I figured that it doesn't really make that much difference anyway, so we'll go ahead and look at the builds outside first. So the first thing you'll see when you come outside is this huge block, or this huge wall of leaf blocks and some glass and some walls, and you might be wondering what on earth this is. This is actually our sugarcane farm, and this was built for the sole purpose of supplying us with paper to trade with villagers, and it works using flying machines. If you don't know what those are, I'd recommend searching them on YouTube. They're very fun and a very interesting concept in Minecraft. So I'm just going to break a few blocks here, and don't worry, this is a backup so we can go ahead and pretty much do whatever we want to do. So here's one of the flying machines, and the other side of the farm features our bigger one, which I think we'll use for this demonstration. So let's just head over to the opposing side of the farm. And as you can see, there is a bunch of sugarcane. So this farm is something in the region of 25 wide by 51 blocks long or something like that. It's quite the farm, to be honest. So this is our flying machine. Essentially it works using a couple of pistons, some slime blocks and some observers. And if we hit this button here, it will send the flying machine on its way across the farm. So as you can see, as the flying machine progresses, it does in fact harvest the sugarcane for us. And the sugarcane then falls into the crevices. A little bit of it does fall on the leaf blocks here, but that is fixed by sending the flying machine in the opposite direction. But we will just observe it as it makes its way across because it is quite a cool contraption. So once it gets to the other end, the obsidian blocks will stop it from continuing any further, and it will just come to a halt, ready to be sent back in the other direction. And as I said, once it does come back, it will knock all of the drops that landed on the leaf blocks here down into the crevices, which is where it needs to be. And the reason why it needs to be in the crevices is because if we come over here, this is our collection system. So it works on a minecart hopper basis. You hit the button here and all of these carts are sent under the farm, and they will go ahead and collect all of the drops that are in the spaces between the leaf blocks. And once these drops make their way back, the hopper is unloaded into a dispensing system. And if we come down to the water stream here, we're getting a bit of lag, but that's fine. You'll see that the sugarcane then goes ahead, makes its way into this hopper here, and that fills up pretty quickly. So I actually think the system is overflowing at the moment, which is kind of an issue because, you know, we don't really want all these items in our world. It's going to cause a bit of lag. Hopefully it won't be too much of an issue, but we do have a couple of chests under here, so let's just break into this and we can take a look at those. So that one we can't access, but I guess both of these are completely full of sugarcane by now, and we're not really using a lot of it at the moment because we're not doing a bunch of trading right now, but as you can see, we have more than enough for whenever we do need it. So that is the sugarcane farm. It's really quite that simple. You can access a tutorial to this build by searching Nembon, that is Gnembon on YouTube. He has a channel full of redstone designs that are quite amazing, to be honest, so I'd recommend checking his channel out. This little build here is part of a path system that we kind of want to get set up outside, but haven't really got around to putting too much effort into yet. So I got one side completed and got the design down, but really haven't extended it in any way. So I think we can progress on from the sugarcane farm now and come and check out the villager breeder / trading area. And this was built because, you know, villagers do trade a lot of useful items, and as you can see, we've got so many down there. I really need to do something about this. But at the moment, again, not spending too much time over here because we've kind of strayed away from villager mechanics and stuff like that in the series for now. But I guess we will come back to it at some point because we do want to make a villager trading hall, which is, I guess, the ultimate goal of this setup. So essentially what happens is you come through the gates here. I'm not going to demonstrate this. It's going to be very difficult with the number of villagers, but you head inside and you push a villager over to one of these holding cells here. So you push a villager into one of these 5 holding cells, and as you can see, we've got a few in there to demonstrate. And then when you want to collect them, you just hit the button, the cart goes in, brings the villager out, and this one's a librarian, so we can go ahead and trade with him if we want to. And he actually has a channeling book for 5 emeralds, which is a very good price. So then what you would do is you would trade with the librarian until you unlock all of the trades. Just take a bite to eat here. And once you've basically made the decision whether or not he's useful, you can then go ahead and either kill him, which we will do because, you know, it's a backup anyway, so it doesn't really matter. And if you don't want to kill him, then you break the cart like so, and you would push him into this chamber here, obviously locking the doors behind you so that he cannot escape. And then once you are ready to send him down into the base, you push him into the water stream there, and this will take him all the way down to our base in the ravine that I mentioned below. So of course I will show you where that links up in the base eventually. But for now, I think we'll just take another look at the villagers just so you can have a second peek at the sheer number we've got down there. So this is actually an automatic breeding setup. So there are 4 doors buried below the center of the farm, and for some reason that causes the villagers just to go crazy and breed and breed and breed. So that's how we're doing that. And again, just by searching this up on YouTube, automatic villager breeder or infinite villager breeder, you will definitely find a tutorial quite quickly on how you could set something up like this for yourself. So there's not really much else interesting to look at here. We've got a few chests with just miscellaneous items in, a bunch of paper. We had a book and quill that we were writing down all the trades in so that we could know what the cheapest ones were and all that type of good stuff. But I haven't really, again, focused too much on that. And then a bunch of things that we were just trading with the villagers. Again, miscellaneous blocks, nothing too interesting. So I think that does it really for the builds that are outside of the base. So now we can head down into the ravine itself. Obviously not before looking at the mine, because that is quite a significant part of the world. It is where we go ahead and gather all of the useful materials and minerals for our builds, armor, redstone work, that kind of stuff. So we haven't really done too much, I guess, outside. We do have a village over there as well, which is basically empty now. There were 2 villagers left when I found it. I guess the zombies got to them, and I managed to save both of them for our villager breeder, so that worked out quite nicely. So heading back into the base, of course, this is pretty much the as I said, where we started everything out in this world. We can come down this ladder here, and that will take us to the mining area. So let's just drop down nice and quickly. Send this up to our inventory. And once we get downstairs, you'll notice a few things. We have a bit of chest layout on the right hand side. There isn't anything in there apart from this stuff. I think we'll just dump all of that in there as well. We have a crafting bench here, a few furnaces, which I barely ever use. This door will take us towards the ravine, but of course that did come a bit later than the mine itself. So let's just head downstairs. We've got a simple strip mine which has a design. We haven't gone very far, but honestly this mine has provided us with a great deal of useful materials. So we of course need to expand the design to the end, but right now I'm not too fussed about that. But as you can see, simple strip mine going off in either direction, and we just dig and dig and dig, basically removing all of the useful materials that we find. So that is that. Not too much interesting to look at. However, we are about to move on to the interesting part of the world. So if you haven't been entertained so far, you might be entertained now. So heading through this door takes us to a small station in which we can hop in the cart, hit the button, and that will take us all the way along to our ravine station, which I'll describe to you in a second once we get there. So block combinations have remained relatively the same. We've gone with dark oak throughout the base, this grey texture palette on the walls, and we've got some leaf blocks in the ceiling. So this is the ravine station, the very first build that we came to build, or the very first build to be built when we arrived in the ravine itself. And this station is a multi-track system. So let me just show you. If we come out here, so this is the exit from the station. You would put the cart here, press the button, powers the rail, and off you go. So as you can see, there is one exit here, two exits here, three exits here, and then the fourth exit takes us right back up to the mine in that direction. I'll also take this opportunity to show the aquarium that is in our mine, in our station, which I think is kind of cool. So we've got this small 3x3 area that we just turned into a small aquarium just for the aesthetics, really. So this station works by using the levers, but of course at the moment we only have one track that actually leads anywhere. So you can see by the sign here, if you don't pull any levers, you'll go back to the mine. However, if you pull the red lever, that will switch the track to go this way. So as you can see, instead of going straight across the track, it used to go that way. You'll now go to the right and up through there. And every other intersection in this system works the same. So if you pull this lever, the middle intersection will change. If you pull this lever, the end intersection will change. But of course, as I said, no destinations as of yet. So if we just break in here, we can take a look at the redstone. So it's very, very simple. Comes down from behind this block. And if we follow the path, it will just lead us all the way. Wow, I'm not going to follow it because of course we're going to destroy a few things there that you have to run through. So maybe we could follow this one instead. But it takes you all the way up. And behind this block is a redstone torch, and obviously when that is unpowered, the track will switch and change the direction in which it will take you. So that is how that works. Very simple, as I said. It's not groundbreaking technology by any means, and I think anyone is capable of building something like that. So not going to take too much plaudits for it, honestly. Here, let's get out of there. So moving on from the station, I guess there isn't really much more to show you there, other than the fact we come through it very often because we're transferring between here and the mine. If you take a right coming out of the station, this is our small storage area, and this is one of the first builds outside of the station that was constructed in the ravine. Firstly, it had a different design, but we went ahead and changed it because I was very disappointed with the way it turned out, and I feel like I rushed it a little bit. So I did go ahead and redesign it, and now I'm very pleased with it. So you can see it's got a very high ceiling. It's got the same block palette that we've been using throughout all of the other builds. And we also went ahead and used a few armor stands just to put a bit of green armor up there. No reason in particular, just for design and aesthetic looks, really. Just so that it was something slightly different when looking up instead of just the constant grey. So in this storage area, we keep everything that we need immediate access to when building around the base. So we've got miscellaneous armor, miscellaneous tools. In here we keep the other pickaxes that are quite useful to us. We've got our food and agriculture chest, so this is where a lot of our food comes from. We've got the ores, ingots and minerals, that classic chest that we had upstairs. And you can see we've actually got quite a lot of stuff, and this is all came from the strip mine really, and a little bit of spelunking here and there. But we've got a bunch of diamonds. We're never going to run out with the mending enchantment now. Iron and gold really are where our priorities lie now in terms of mining. Coal we've got a bunch of, even more than this, stored elsewhere. And then mob loot is just anything, again, that you get from killing mobs. So we've got a bunch of random stuff in there. We've got dyes in there, miscellaneous items and blocks, so really blocks that don't have a category. Minecart equipment is pretty empty, but that's anything for building tracks. And then on the opposing side, we've got our end building blocks, so anything that comes from the end, glass and ice. So all glass and all ice goes in there, pretty self-explanatory. Wood building blocks, again, self-explanatory. Stone building blocks, self-explanatory. Dirt, gravel and sand, the same. Terracotta and clay, and also nether building blocks, similar to the end building blocks. Anything that you can attain from the nether. So that's it for the small storage area, really. Apart from this little... it's not really that useful, to be honest. It's just a block swapper. So if we break into the redstone here, you can see that it's just a simple mechanism where pistons fire pretty much out of turn. So one will drag the block out and another will push it to the side, and vice versa on the other side. So there you go. You can kind of see it in action if we break it down a little bit here. There we go. Not very useful, as I said, but quite cool. So that's how that works. Okay, so let's get out of the small storage area and head to our bulk or deep storage area, as I like to call it. So we've built this small 3x3 piston door, and it's actually very compact. It only takes up 1 block width, and up here is where the redstone mechanism sort of protrudes from the build. You can see down into it a little bit there. So stepping on the pressure plate causes a redstone block at the top to move locations and essentially power the machine that pulls the blocks out of place. Heading into the storage room, you might notice the look of this room from an Ethos Lab video. I took great inspiration from one of his builds. It's obviously not exactly the same, but as I said, the inspiration is there, obviously, if you've seen the room. And this room was designed to take any overflow from the small storage room, so any blocks we have in huge quantities, such as cobblestone, as you can see, we've got a bunch of chests full of it. We'll go into this room just for overflow storage so that we're not crowding it out. So as you can see, a lot of these chests have a great deal of items in them, especially the cobblestone. We've got a load of smooth stone as well. Our sand gets kept in here. On the other side are blocks that really are slightly different from building blocks, but we still have a bunch of. So cactus, we've got in huge quantities. We've got quite a bit of quartz there. I've used a lot of that recently though. Blocks of coal here and redstone blocks here. So there's not really much else to this build. Of course, we do have the water down below as well, which I'll let you have a little look at here. There's no redstone involved, obviously, and it's just a simple chest stacking system. It's not really... There's not really too much going on, is what I'm trying to say. Just the design work. So, that's that. We can head out of here, I guess. We've seen enough of that. So coming out, press the pressure plate again. The door will close itself and everything's back to normal. So heading down the ravine slightly, on our left here we have a sugarcane farm. So this was built a long time ago, long before the mass sugarcane farm that we've got outside, and it works using pistons. You press the button, the pistons push the sugarcane into the water stream, which takes it into a hopper. You stand on this pressure plate and you can access the chest in which it falls. So if we just break into this thing, we can have a look at the redstone. It's not very complicated again. Button powers this redstone. It comes down here. It splits off into 2 channels. One channel goes up to the top and powers the top pistons. One channel goes down below and powers the bottom pistons. And they both push together simultaneously to break the sugarcane, and it falls down into the water stream and into the hopper here. So as I said, very basic design, and this came a long time before the mass sugarcane farm outside, and essentially it just wasn't producing enough for us, so we had to move on. But I like to keep it here as a... No, well, not as a reminder. I was going to say as a reminder, but it still is useful to us if we don't want to head all the way upstairs to grab sugarcane. There's still quite a bit of a supply of it down here, so we can go ahead and just access it quite easily for use anytime we need it. So on the opposing side of that wall is the redstone closet. And the redstone closet, you might have guessed, is where we keep all of our bits and bobs for building our redstone mechanisms in the world. So if you stand on the pressure plates here, the chests are exposed, and you can just go ahead and just grab anything you need out of the chests here. So you can see we've got everything slightly organized, but not too greatly at the moment, to be honest. We can go ahead and take a look inside though. So if we break in here, probably not the best place to break in actually. We'll actually break in on this side. That might be a bit more useful. If we come down here into the back, you can see that it's a very Yes, actually, I would say this is kind of complicated system. So the redstone comes into the back here, and through a great deal of redstone trickery, which I have to admit I didn't come up with this myself. It was actually a design that I followed online. The piston tower is powered, and the blocks are retracted. So I'm not even going to attempt to explain how this works because honestly, I don't know. So just take it for what it is. The redstone here powers the pistons and they retract the blocks. That's how it works. Don't know exactly how it works, but that is how it works. So just take my word for it. So let's just replace that so you can get a feel of that area when we come back around. But as I was saying, this is just a place to keep all of our redstone materials to use when we go ahead and create a redstone based build. So moving further into the ravine, you can see that the floor sort of ends here because we haven't yet taken it any further. On the right is a build that came soon after entering the ravine, and this is the dark oak tree farm. So as I've said and as you've witnessed, there's a bunch of dark oak logs being used in this base, and it's kind of the theme now. So what did we need to satisfy that theme? We needed a dark oak tree farm. So I went ahead and dug out a huge area which already had quite a bit of land missing because, you know, this is built in and around an abandoned mine shaft. So it wasn't totally my work. It was some of the game generation's work as well, but don't take anything away from me, please, because this did take a long time. And as you can see, it's a basic farm. You just replant the crops after they've been harvested. And at the end of the farm, we have a nice little pond here with some pond life in it. A few sea pickles in there just to provide a bit of light. Some soul sand to provide the bubbles. And then we got this little cave sort of thing going on at the end as well with a bit of vine work in there. Just to apply to the look of the area, really. Because it's a natural build, you know. It's got the crops in here, we've got the grass, we've got the different blocks on the floor. And I think together it works really well. So if we come to the back of the farm, we've got a bit of a chest system. So in the chest system here, you can store your logs. I went ahead and used a bunch of these, so there's none in there at the moment. You can put the grass in here for reapplying it when you accidentally break it. You've got some shears here for shearing leaves, shearing grass blocks, that sort of thing. And then finally, saplings and bone meal, which are excuse me, which are obvious in their uses. The saplings are for the trees and the bone meal is to grow the trees when we need to speed things up a bit. But this is the tree farm, and of course I have two pathways leading either side of it. And there's one thing I quickly want to show you over here before that I'll quickly mention the ceiling isn't yet complete, as you can tell, but we're going to go for an arch type look with some leaf blocks in the middle eventually once I get around to it. It's kind of a tedious task though, so I've been putting it off for quite a while now, but we will get around to it one day. Anyway, this through here is the next expansion for the base. So if we go ahead and dig up through here, you can see that this actually leads us out into a double ravine. So we've got one in this direction, one in this direction, and at the start of an older episode, I basically just made you guys aware of this and said that this is where we'll be taking our base in the future. Once we've ran out of space back there, and there's a creeper in here, so let me take him out. I'm on fire as well. This is not a good moment. But as I was saying, this is the area in which we're going to progress into once we've ran out of space in the old ravine. So nothing's been built in here at the moment, as you can tell. It's just real estate basically at the moment. So yeah, keep your eye out for that in the future, because this path probably will extend through that gap and make its way up into that ravine. So I think that's a good enough look at the tree farm. It's not the most interesting build, if I'm going to be totally honest. So we'll progress onwards now, and we'll take this staircase up towards our smeltery. So the smeltery is a Wells Knight design, and upon inspection you can see we have 7 furnaces on either side, and these furnaces are designed to work simultaneously. So if we split these blocks here in 2 and put 5 in there and 5 in there, hit the lever, the carts make their way around, and you can see the furnaces fill up. So the carts are on a track that runs in behind this build here, and if I just tear out a few blocks, you can see that they just make their way back and forth, popping items into the system, and until you hit this lever again, they will continue their journey. But once the tracks are powered off, they'll of course stop and come back to their original position. But as you can see, 5 stone in each chest. All right, we've got 6 in there. I don't know why, but we've got 7 furnaces, as I said, working simultaneously to produce output. So it works very quickly and very efficiently. And in the bottom carts here, we've got coal as the fuel source. If you hit that lever, these mine carts will make their way behind the furnaces here, as you can see, and they'll sort of just dump fuel into the back of the furnaces. I'm going to get rid of a bunch of these blocks though, because I don't want to be carrying them around. But that is how it works. It's quite simple once you've got the hang of the design. But as I said, this is a Wells Knight build. So if you ever want to build something like this for yourselves, be sure to head over to his channel and search up his smeltery tutorial, and you will be able to build yourself something like this. But all in all, I really like how the bricks combine with the grey and brown textures. I think this room looks really cool, and I'm kind of sad now that I didn't make it a little bit bigger. So maybe in the future, if we have the means and the needs for it, we'll go ahead and produce one of these on a bigger scale, because as I said, I really do like how it looks. So progressing onwards from the smeltery, we have the villager. I don't really know what this is called. I guess it's the villager cell, the jail cell. It's not a jail because, you know, the villagers haven't done anything wrong, but we are holding them there until we build ourselves a trading hall. So if we come down here back towards the staircase and take a left, we can actually access this room. So the villagers are, of course, coming from the trading area up above that I showed you right at the start of the video. And the water stream actually drops them off in this block here. So it leads all the way up to the top there, and they drop down through the hatch and into this room. And then they sort of just do this weird back and forth until I give them purpose in life. So yeah, I'm guessing this is something to do with their detection of the village up above, but I really don't know. But this was just a small fun build to harbor the villagers until we can build something that they are useful for. But a few of them have names, of course, because I've traded with them and they've had good books. So you can see Mending there, Fortune 3, Infinity, Channeling. So all of the villagers with names are basically specifying that they have a cheap trade of that book. And if we go ahead and look at one of them, you can see this guy is the Loyalty. He's got Projectile Protection. I'm not really sure what I've kept this guy for. Maybe the Unbreaking book, probably, because it's relatively cheap, I guess. This guy is the Mending book, so if we head to the end, you can see he's got a 12 emerald trade for Mending, so that's perfect for us. But for now, these guys are just going to roam around in their cell, back and forth, kind of keeping themselves occupied, I guess, until I've built the Villager Trading Center, so there's nothing else to really show there. I will mention, actually, that I've had them escape a few times, and that has been so much fun getting them back into the room. I'm kidding, it's really not fun. So if you ever build something like that yourselves, do not let them escape. That is a tip I'll give you. Anyway, I think that's it for the builds in this. Oh no, it's not actually. I'm forgetting one more thing. So if we head down here, you might think this looks like a dead end, but we do actually have a build in this area. Firstly, we've got a small zombie spawner here, which I think I'm eventually going to get rid of. A couple of chests with some random blocks in. But if we come down here, this is the first and currently the only layer of our slime farm. So the slime farm works by killing the slimes automatically. So they'll make their way on top of these magma blocks and slowly put themselves to death. And as you just saw, there is a cart with a hopper in it running underneath these blocks, and that will pick up any of the drops, take them back into this room here. So we can enter that room. And we've of course got a cart on either side. So this is an automatic unloader. When the cart gets here and has items in its inventory, it will drop them into the hopper. The hopper powers the comparator, which will power this block. That will unpower the torch, which will unpower this block, unpower the redstone here, unpower this block, which then unpowers the rail and forces the cart to remain in this position until it has unloaded everything that it has. You can turn the system off using that block, that switch, and it will it will keep the cart in position until you set it off again. And that is the same for both sides. The items then filter into this chest, down into 2 hoppers here, which filter into this chest, and then this chest is filtered into 2 double chests down here, and as you can see, we've already got a great deal of slime balls. I built this farm because we didn't have enough slime for the flying machines down in the sugarcane farm, so this has definitely provided us with what we've needed, and now we are creating a surplus of the material, which is good to see. And this room, of course, does take a little bit of a different look. So I was feeling something different when I built this, and I wanted to vary our design style a little bit. So I went ahead and used some, is this dark oak? I think it's dark oak. It's either dark oak or birch, or spruce. Okay, these are spruce planks, so dark oak stripped with spruce planks, and then we've got a few spruce trapdoors on some of the walls as well, but I think altogether this design looks really nice. And I was saying to you guys in the episode in which I built this, I do want to try and incorporate this design and look somewhere else, because I think it actually does look pretty cool, and it's nice to have a bit of a difference from the constant grey and dark oak textures that we've been using throughout the base. So that's all there is to see there. And of course we're going to need to make our way out again here, so let's just pile up like that and get on out. So progressing back towards the base, I think we'll head back towards the tree farm and take a left there instead, so that we can move towards our cactus farm. So the cactus farm was built because we needed some... Actually, was it built because we needed green dye? I honestly can't remember if we needed it or not. I think we've come to need it eventually anyway, but... what happened was we were going to build an automatic sugarcane farm here for the paper needs that we had, but then I realized that it was very inefficient to build it in that way, and then I had a commenter tell me about Nembon's design, so I thought, you know what, screw the sugarcane farm, we're going to build a cactus farm just so that we've got something to put in this space, and we'll go ahead and build Nembon's design outside, because it's going to be a lot more efficient, it's going to provide us with a lot more sugarcane, and all in all it's just going to be an all-round better build. So this cactus farm again is a Wells Knight design. I'm not sure if he's the originator of the design, but I watched his video on how to build it. So when the cactus grows, it will immediately harvest itself because it cannot be surrounded by any adjacent blocks. And then the glass panes work by avoiding the entity from the cactus that is dropped when it breaks. It will hit the glass pane and fall down into the water rather than hitting the cactus and being destroyed. So that's how that functionality works. If we just jump up here, you can see, excuse me, the water carries all of the drops into the middle of the base, sorry, of the build, and they are collected in this hopper system, which will send them all the way down into this chest. And as you can see, it's filling up very nicely. So yeah, I don't really know what we're going to do with all of this cactus, but we got a bunch of it. And I'm just storing it in the deep storage room, as you saw earlier, at the moment. For that's just for the time being, because as I said, I don't really know what to do with it, so it's going to go there for now. It does have a second layer also. It looks exactly the same. It's just above this half slab section here. And that pretty much is it for this farm. I think we're going to put a ceiling on it eventually. I didn't put one on yet because I didn't know if we're going to build any more layers, but I really don't think we've got that much use for cactus. So I think we'll cap it off at 2 layers, because as you can see, it's already producing way more than we can handle. So yeah, we'll probably eventually put a ceiling on this and call it a day there. But across the way from the cactus farm, we've got a couple of chests, which I'll just show you. Just random stuff from when we were building the cactus farm. And then behind here is where we've got our temporary location for our nether portal. We haven't really built anything in the nether, so I'm not going to bother going over there right now. So progressing onwards, this is the sheep farm. This is the, sorry, it's a wool farm really. I should be calling it a wool farm because that's what it is. But this is the latest build in the series, and as you can see, it's quite the extravagant looking multicolored build, and I'm really enjoying it actually at the moment. I was quite skeptical of the way it looked before we put in the ceiling and the floor designs, but now I'm definitely enjoying this. So this works. This farm is designed for 1.14. It doesn't currently work in 1.13. You can harvest the sheep yourself by coming to the edges here and just shearing them, but this design is specifically for 1.14. So if I just break into this one, I'm just gonna kill these sheep so that I can show you how it works. So let's just get rid of these guys, break the glass. So here we have 3 dispensers. In the dispensers there will be shears eventually once 1.14 is released, because if you guys didn't know, 1.14 is adding a functionality for dispensers where if they have shears inside of them and are powered, they will shear sheep in front of them. So this farm works in a very specific way. Once the grass block here has been eaten by the sheep, the observer will detect a change in the block. The observer will then go ahead and power. The observer will power this repeater, which fires a piston down here, which pushes the observer up, sends a redstone signal into this block and then into the dispenser itself, causing the sheep that has harvested the grass off of this block, or this block, or this block, to be harvested using the shears inside the respective dispenser. So what I'm trying to say is, if this grass block is eaten by a sheep, then this dispenser will be activated and the sheep stood on this grass block will be harvested. And then underneath the grass here, as you can see, we've got rails running along, and on the rails there is a cart with a hopper in it, which might come along anytime now. There you go. Excuse me. And that will pick up all of the wool drops and take them back to our sorting system, which I'll show you in a second. So let me just quickly take a run through here. We've got all of the 16 colors in obviously 16 separate cells, which have the glass to match the color. Every single design is the same, just a single light in there as well to keep things nicely lit. And then in the ceiling, we've gone for a similar ceiling design that has been used across the base. We've got the stone brick, the stone slabs, and the leaves. Of course, this one is slightly different because we've been using the stripped dark oak logs, but I still like how it's turned out. And we've got a little bit of spruce in here as well, just to keep things mixed up. So all in all, I really like the way this has turned out, and the design is actually quite satisfying now that I, as I said, have experienced the look of it with the design work on the ceiling and the floor. I guess we could talk about this. This is our temporary cocoa bean farm because we don't have one, so I'm just replanting and harvesting that for the dye for the time being. So that's the sheep farm. And of course, the cart is going to have somewhere to go to drop off the loot. So this is the system in which it does that. So this is an automatic... Excuse me, my voice today. I can't keep it up. I'm not used to speaking for this length of time. But as I was saying, this here is an automatic unloading station similar to the one that you saw in the slime farm. So the items are unloaded and then they make their way into this dropper, which will automatically power itself once it has items inside of it. And these items will be sent along this water stream, up this water elevator, and we'll grab some blocks here so that we can check out the functionality. And once they've made their way up... Oh, okay, this could be difficult. We might be able to take a look. Yeah, so once they've made their way up there, they go under the water here, and there are a bunch of hoppers which will deposit the items into specific silos. So let me just show you the silos first so that you can sort of get some context here. So at the moment we currently have 8 silos, and just ignore the design work in here, it's going to change eventually. But as I was saying, currently 8 silos. There will be another 8 up on this layer of the room, so 4 up there and 4 up there. But we've currently only built 8 of them. So in these chests, as you can see, the wool to match the color of the silo. Quite easy to know what's going on here. However, the redstone behind it is quite complicated. So this is a mumbo jumbo design if you ever want to build something like this yourself. The silo part, that is. And before each of the silos, you have a hopper which is acting as a filter. So this little mechanism here, these few blocks, basically... again, I really don't know how this works, but if you type into Google Minecraft hopper filter, you will easily find a tutorial for this. But essentially, this will only allow cyan wool to enter. So only cyan wool can pass through this hopper and into this part of the system. So when the wool is flowing in the water over the top of this hopper, only the cyan wool will be collected and deposited into the cyan silo. And only magenta wool will be collected and deposited into this magenta silo. Only light blue wool will be deposited into the light blue silo, and so on and so forth. So that is how that works. I hope you guys can sort of get a grasp of it from that description. And once the water makes its way to the end here, we're going to build another elevator which takes it up and again back through the system once we've built the other 8 silos on the top floor. And then once we've got all of that into place and 1.14 comes out, that farm should literally just take care of itself. The sheep will be harvested by themselves, and the minecart will keep depositing items into the silos to make sure that they're being filled. And the way the silos work is that, here, if I just break these blocks down, we can take a look. Or probably not, actually, because that is what's powering the block there. So we'll remove this side. As you can see, there are 3 double chests. There's one at the bottom, one there, and one there. The bottom chest, with the bottom chest when it has items in will power this light. The middle chest when it has items in will power this light. And the top chest when it has items in will power this light. So this here is essentially an indicator of how full the silo is. So when this light is powered, you know that the bottom chest has items in it. When this light is powered, you know that the middle chest has light items in it and the bottom chest is full. And then when the top light is powered, you know that the middle and the bottom chest are full and that the top chest has items in it. So any items that make their way into the system that don't match any of the filters will just go to the end and despawn, basically. So that's kind of the protection against anything making its way in that shouldn't. You don't have to worry about that, but I think we've seen enough here in this room. And I'm just thinking, is there anything else that we can progress onto? I think that might be it, you know, for the world tour. Is there anything else? I guess we can take one last run through, but we're gonna have to get out of here first of all. We don't actually have a proper entrance to this room as of yet, but one will be coming, so don't worry about that. Here, have I forgotten anything? For some reason it feels like I have, but I don't think I have. I think that is it. As I said, there's nothing in the nether, nothing in the end, so I'm not going to bother going over there. So maybe we can just take a quick last second run through of everything here. Oh, no, I remembered there is one more thing, the skeleton farm. So coming through the station, again, we don't have a proper walkway to this part of the base yet, but if we head over here, you'll notice we do actually have a build. So jumping across to the ladder, made it. You can see this is our skeleton experience farm. So there is a spawner behind this wall here, and that is obviously, you know how spawners work, you guys aren't stupid. You stand here, the skeletons will gather in this area here, and there are a couple of not instructions but buttons here. So you hit this button, that will send out water, and that will cause the skeletons to come towards the center of the farm to make it easier to kill them. If you power this switch on, you can hear some ticking. So that powers the system that automatically sorts the items. So similarly to the wool farm, we've got 3 silos here. Of course, they're much larger, and I'll show you what they hold in a second. Let's just kill a few skeletons. So there we go, down they go like this, and the experience makes its way out. And there's one more guy, and then if we head over to here, you can see the items flowing up through the system. And then if we come across to the silos, you can see that after a while the items start flowing in. So we've got a few bones coming in, got a few arrows coming in, and then any of the other miscellaneous drops that skeletons come up with, so bows and armor, will just make their way into this silo. So you can see this silo actually has 2 chests with items in it, so it's getting not quite full because we still have tons of room to go, but it's filling up. However, these 2 chests currently haven't even made their way through a single double, so of course they are not going to fill up anytime soon. We have a couple of chests here with some miscellaneous items in again that I used to build the room. We've got a crafting bench here. Still haven't decided what to do with this part of the wall. That's probably where the entrance to the room is going to be eventually, but for now, as I said, we make our way in through this ladder, and that is basically how it works. So it's a very simple setup. It doesn't rely on full damage at all. And I mean, you can get away with that once you have a mending sword, because it sort of just takes care of itself. But I usually come in here to repair pickaxes and things like that. Any item that has mending on it, just to make sure that the durability of those items are staying nice and high. So that is almost it. So if we remove the block here, you can see the spawner. This switch here turns on the lights, and it's supposed to stop spawning, but I still don't think there's enough light to actually stop spawning entirely. It does definitely slow it down, but doesn't stop it entirely, so we're going to have to fix that at some point. But it's just kind of a system that we didn't really need anyway, so I'm not sure why I built it. I just thought it'd be a cool idea. But this is where the water stream, so the water tower is under this block here, and this is where the items make their way up. They come up the water tower and along the water and down into our silo system, which starts over there somewhere. So that, I believe, is definitely the last build of this world tour. So let's quickly take a little bit of a quick run through of everything else. So you just saw the skeleton farm. This is the station. Got our small aquarium here with a few fish in it. We've got our 3 alternative exits from the station, going in those directions. My voice is going here. I've been talking for a long time. And of course we have the 3 levers to determine which track we take when exiting there. On our right here is the small storage system, which contains all items that we need convenient access to. We've got a small block swapper here, which... Oops, I just broke it. Oh well. But that's a block swapper which gives us access to a crafting bench. And not very complex really. Then through here is our deep storage system. This is where we keep any item that we have in large quantities. So as you can see, cobblestone is quite a fixture in this room. And we've got a few other things as well. Coming out of there, we've got 2 smaller builds. So on our left hand side, we've got the small sugarcane farm, which wasn't enough for us. And on the right hand side we got the redstone closet where I keep all of our redstone materials and items for redstone builds. Progressing onwards, on the right hand side you've got the entrance to the tree farm, the dark oak tree farm. It's a very simple build, as I said. You just harvest the trees, replant them, there's a small pond at the end. We got 2 pathways either side of the farm that we can use for future builds. In the back here you've got the chest system, so you can hold on to some wood, you can hold on to some grass, some shears, bone meal and saplings, that type of thing. Opposite to the tree farm we've got a small staircase which takes us up here. On the right of the staircase is the entrance to the villagers. This is where we keep them until we have a use for them, and this small hatch here is where they are delivered from the trading and breeding center up on the overground. Coming out of there and progressing through this gap, we have ourselves our smelting room, which you load in the smelting objects up here and the fuel down here. You hit the levers and the carts just fill the furnaces with both of those items. All smelted items are then dispensed out of here. So as I said, Wells Night design if you ever want to build something like this yourselves. Over to the left here, we can make our way over to the slime farm. So coming down into the slime farm, the slimes kill themselves on the magma blocks. Their drops are then harvested by a minecart with a hopper and then dispensed into these chests down here. Obviously we'll add more floors to this farm as we progress, but at the moment 1 floor is enough for our needs, so I'm not in any sort of rush to get another floor built in that thing. So let's get out of here and head back towards the cactus and wool farm. So if you come out of here, down the stairs and up into the tree farm, and then progress out of the tree farm towards the left hand side, you can make your way along this path and to the cactus farm. So the cactus farm, as I said, another Wells Night design. It just automatically harvests itself, falls down into the water, into the hoppers, and then eventually into this chest. You can see it working before our very eyes. Along from the cactus farm is the wool farm. This is a design that is specifically set up for 1.14 to allow the sheep to automatically shear themselves. The drops land on blocks here, and the minecart below collects the drops, takes them... Where did you come from? Whoa, whoa, whoa. What is going on? What, that was weird. I hope you guys saw that on camera, but he was like really attracted to me there. He was like running through me. That was weird. Anyway, the minecart collects the wool from the farm, drops it off here, and a dropper will then send the items into a water stream which goes up and over the top of some hoppers here which are filtered to only allow certain items into them. And these specific items are categorized based on the color of the wool, so each silo here holds a single color of wool. So we've got light blue, magenta, we've got orange, is this white? Yeah, white, blue, purple, cyan, and light grey. And of course there are 8 more silos to come once we've got that build up and running. And then we'll just head back outside towards the mine and the original part of the base so that you can check out the other couple of builds that we've got going on up there. And I think after that I will end the video. But I just want to take this moment to remind you guys that there is going to be a world download in the description. So make sure if you want to check this out for yourselves, I would recommend that you do, because obviously you can take a much more detailed look in your own time. So if you do want to do that for yourselves and check it out, then head down into the description. There will be a download link so that you can go ahead and download my world for yourselves just to take a personal look at it and sort of have a play around. Maybe you can build something and then show me what you've built, and it might give me a bit of inspiration for the future, because I'm always open to suggestions, as I say at the end of each video. But the minecart there takes you from the ravine station back to the mine station. Down these stairs is the strip mine where I said we get all of our useful materials and blocks from. If you head up the ladder here, that will take you up to the very original part of the base, which started out as a small cave that I found, as I said, and eventually progressed into what it is now. But, you know, we don't really spend that much time up here, so the detail upstairs isn't top-notch. Obviously, there's a lot more going on down in the ravine. But we have a couple of cows, our AFK fishing spot. We have our small storage area here. Then heading outside to see the last couple of builds in the world. We've got the mass sugarcane farm here, which I can give you one more demonstration of if you like, because I do think it's quite cool. So if we head up on top of the leaf blocks here, we can push this button, no, not that one, this one, and that will send the flying machine on its way to harvest all of the sugarcane in the farm, so we can sort of run alongside it if you want to. So off it goes, smashing the sugarcane, firing it in all different directions. This is so cool. I really like this. Whoever came up with this flying machine concept in Minecraft, honestly, is a genius. They have so many uses, especially when bamboo comes out in 1.14 as well. I'm definitely going to have to create a bamboo rendition of this farm. But as you can see, all of the drops are harvested. Then you can jump down here, hit this centralized button. That will send all of the minecarts on their way to do a little bit of a collection run. And once they make their way back... why didn't that one get on its way? That's strange. Okay, we got a little bit to fix there then, I guess. But as you can see, the drops are then sent down into this hopper, which then filter down into a couple of chests. We're not going to spend too long looking at that because it's very straightforward. We've got the start of a path system that we're eventually going to develop outside, just here. And then heading further over in this direction towards the more wooded area of the world, or the vicinity, I should say. We have our villager breeder on this side. So as you can see, it's an infinite breeder. There are tons of villagers down there. I need to do a bit of a cull down there soon because it's getting out of hand. But we'll think about that sometime in the future. And then behind the breeding center, we have the trading center. So any villagers that we want to take a closer look at, we can send a cart in to grab them. And it didn't work because there's 2 in there. But they'll eventually come back to this spot. You can trade with them. Make sure you think they're useful before sending them into this room and into this water stream, which eventually leads down to the villager holding cell. So that's it for the world tour, you guys. I really hope you enjoyed what you saw, and this video might have convinced you to subscribe maybe, so that you can stay tuned to everything else that we have coming in the future. I promise you it's going to be a good journey, and 50 episodes is only the beginning. So definitely stick around if you liked what you saw. Before we do end the video, actually, I'm going to get out of here because the villagers are kind of annoying, just to get away from the sound. There we go. So we're away from the sound again. As I was saying, if you do decide that you like what you saw from this world tour, then definitely hit the subscribe button, because as I said, there's more of this to come. 50 episodes is just the beginning for me, really. In my mind, I want to take this series quite far, so definitely stick around for the ride if that's what you're interested in. If you like the video, then drop a like down below. That always helps me out. It'd be great to see the support because, you know, I get a bunch of it from you guys already, and it's good to see that some of you guys have been here from the very beginning. Some of you guys have came 10 episodes ago, but all of you seem to be inputting in the comments, leaving suggestions, giving me ideas, that sort of thing, and it's great to see. I really do appreciate that. And finally, if you have any comments about the world itself, any suggestions for future builds, definitely let me know. Any feedback, or why not tell me which episode you started watching in, which episode is your favorite, which build is your favorite, that sort of thing. Definitely let me know down in the description below. I love to read your guys' comments, and I do respond to all of them. So anything that you do say, I will definitely get back to you on that, and that is a promise. So that's pretty much it, you guys. I guess that's a bye from me. This is the end of the world tour. I'm just glad that we've made it through to 50 episodes, and I really do hope that you guys are enjoying it. So definitely take care of yourselves, take care of your families, as I always say. Definitely make sure to do that. And here's to 50 more. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.